This is episode number 283 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. I'm here in the studio with my agent friends. This is Sal DiVincenzo here. And I have agent Sarah Fade. She is able to identify Diet Coke flavors from around the world, fountain only, without even looking at them.
I don't know if they're poisoned or not.
Yes. Also here with Agent Nicole Rambo, who can bench press a baby in a pool.
Barely.
And we are the Mission Difficult. Which is a line in the movie that we're going to talk about today. So this is a movie chat. So last week, if you are listening to our episodes last week, Sarah had a book that was the movies of the 90s. And then, you did mention, and we randomly had Siri pick a number and we picked a page, and Mission Impossible 2 came out, which interestingly enough, as we were recording this, today is July 12th. We're recording this, and that's the day that the new Mission Impossible comes out.
Yeah.
It's got like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like going to be a huge movie this summer.
Can do no wrong. That
Can
Mr.
do no
Cruz.
wrong, Mr. Cruz.
Well,
Besides,
Yeah.
only in regards to movies.
yeah, when it comes to movies. When it comes to
Besides, here's the list of things that Tom Cruise can do wrong. So it landed on that movie, and I got excited because hey, it actually ties it in with this new movie coming out. This is the seventh movie coming out. It's a two-parter. And
interesting. I didn't know that.
And Mission Impossible 2,
Aren't they all?
technically made in the 90s,
Yeah.
but released in 2000.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So it's close enough. The movie stars, of course, Tom Cruise, Ving Rhames, my favorite, Thandie Newton.
Yeah, she's a little baby.
Yeah,
so
she
young.
looks. It was bad because she looks like a cousin of Rocky's, but young, and that's all I saw. I'm like, she looks like she's 10, and Rocky's like, oh, I'm like, ew, like she looks like your cousin who's 10, and he's like, and I put a side by side, and he's like, oh,
And then you ruined it.
I did,
Rocky?
but I was like, ew, that's gross. And she was like a baby.
Yeah, she was young.
She was really young.
Yeah.
So this came out in 2000. IMF agent Ethan Hunt is sent to Sydney to find and destroy a genetically modified disease called Chimera. And it's interesting watching this film. I kind of got like a little bit of a chill thinking
Why?
about, because it's kind of, I don't know, it's very familiar, virus going out there in the world, and then somehow a pharmaceutical company is able to come up with a vaccine very shortly after this virus
I thought that
comes
too.
out.
I was like,
Yeah.
COVID, anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Even
kind
though
of
the name of the vaccine was horrible.
It was
Bella.
started with
what
a
do they
B.
keep saying? This is terrible.
Started with a B.
I couldn't think of any other word.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I also want to mention Dougray Scott plays the villain in this film, plays Sean Ambrose. Richard Roxburgh plays Hugh.
Brenden Glesson's in it.
Brenden
Yeah.
Glesson plays
Yeah.
the pharmaceutical, president of pharmaceutical, and you have John Polson plays Billy. And then you have a couple of, if you blink, you miss them. Like Dominic Purcell is in this movie. I don't know if he's one of the henchmen. You know who Dominic Purcell is? Did you ever watch that show on, that was a great show on Fox. What was the name of that show, Sarah? Where he wakes up and he knows everything.
Knowing?
No, that was Nicholas. Was that Nicolas Cage?
Oh yeah, I'm
film.
sorry. It all goes back to Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. So it was a show on Fox, and
Not
they,
The Mentalist.
and they ended it after, I think it was one season, but
Yeah, well, if you know everything.
yeah, it was a great show. And before the end of the show, he was in Prison Break. If you remember,
okay,
he was
I
in
remember
Prison
Prison
Break.
Break.
Yeah. John Doe. Remember that show, John Doe? No.
Mm.
Okay. Anyway, he wakes up. He knows everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, he's in like a tiny little bit of this. That being said, again, film is the second in the series of the
It
large
was
series.
long.
It was only 2 hours. It was 2 hours. What are you talking
Really?
about? Maybe it felt long.
I was
Yeah,
like,
it did. And I was saying, I
oh.
was like, this isn't, it did at the end, but like, I feel like it wasn't very action-y. Because, I'm very used to John Wick now,
Yeah.
where it's like just action. Like, that's it. That's
Well, it
all
was very
is.
slow. I said, I was
Yeah.
like, it's very slow. I'm like, it probably is more lifelike, like their action because I'm like, I'd be tired. I'd be like, where it'd be very slow punches and like,
Yeah. But apparently, it was like one of the more actiony Mission Impossible.
Well, I feel like it would be 30 minutes long if you took out all the motorcycle racing and the shooting and the
but
like. How long can we watch them just chase each other?
So the film was
there was a lot of chasing. He chased her in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
they had that weird like flirty car chase. I'm like, oh, that's different.
So the film was directed by John Woo,
Yes.
who does a lot of those
Yes.
crazy action.
So I learned.
I think it was his only Mission Impossible film that he did.
Well, good.
We don't need any more slow motions. We get it.
Yeah.
Close-ups of Tom Cruise's face.
So storyline, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins! I forgot to mention Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Sir Anthony Hopkins comes, in the form of the usual Mission Impossible. This message will self-destruct. He gives us a message. Basically says this plane was forcibly crashed because this poor guy was on there and he had some sort of antidote to this chimera. He was actually carrying the chimera himself. He only had 20 hours to live, blah, 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 this whole kind of thing. So it's out there. This could be used as a weapon, they think. They don't know actually what it could be used for, to be honest.
It's bad, though.
It's bad.
Bad news.
So IMF tasks...
Stock option.
Yeah, exactly.
When he said that, I was like...
Yeah, it turns... it kind of makes that...
It's like, I want stocks. I was like, I wasn't paying attention. I was like, what does he want?
I was like, or $1 billion.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
That was so funny.
Yeah, it was
to me.
weird. Yes, I want...
Yeah, because it was like, do you know what stocks are?
Yeah.
It's like,
Money, too.
Stock options.
no, I...
Like, you just want to be like... invested in the you just don't you want to just get what you, and get out of there?
Yeah, and that's not how it works. Like the guy's not in charge. Okay, I'll just transfer my stocks. That's not how it works.
Like the whole thing.
Yeah,
I want to be on the board. I want
yeah, exactly.
Okay, I want vision and dental.
It was like,
okay.
that's not how it works. I don't think it's not that easy.
It kind of took that turn like in Die Hard, where you're trying to figure out. You remember in Die Hard, you're thinking, okay, this guy's a terrorist, but in the end, he was just a thief. Like they wanted to steal all the bonds from Nakatomi Plaza. It's kind of like that, At the end, it's like, but so this thing is out there. So Ethan Hunt is tasked by Sir Anthony Hopkins, who in this film is the head of IMF, to do to investigate. Asked to get the help of Naya, who is a professional thief herself. And there is probably the shortest time period that I've seen in a film where it goes from just meeting to having a full-on relationship.
So let me tell you something. No, it was quick. And it was borrowed from the romance genre. And when it happened, I said, they are pulling from the romance genre right now. It's called Insta-Love. And it's like a trope in the romance genre. And I was like, look at that. Romance is everywhere. Sorry, I was just like the fact that you brought that up, I was like, I
did you see the fire coming out of her ears just now?
I know, it was in a good way. I was happy about it. I was like...
But I feel like if you've seen other Mission Impossibles, there is always a romance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, there has to be. That's the formula.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
the quick, it was like a
It's like quick.
Well, when they were like the first scene or whatever, I'm like, and who are you?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're confident.
I checked. I think it was 17 or 18 minutes in, and they were already in bed together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
the romance genre.
But it turns out that she's not being drafted in this project here because she's a good thief. She's actually being asked to help because she had a relationship with the bad guy.
It's very sexist.
Yeah. So she's basically prostituted by this major clandestine
wow, they don't do this anymore.
Organization asking her to do that and to get to this guy, and action ensues, and we fast forward to where she gets caught because he, obviously the bad guy isn't dumb.
Yeah, she puts the thing in the wrong pocket.
Yes.
Figures it out. And then he puts on this wonderful Tom Cruise mask.
And they find So there's let's talk. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's a lot of masks in this movie, but that's like typical of the first the early Mission Impossibles, right? The mask thing. Things go wrong. Ethan goes to destroy the chimera and the antidote. or not the antidote, but destroy the chimera. She ends up taking the last.
She injects herself.
She didn't think about it at all. She said,
yes.
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah,
I think you were, because there was a slow mo of you thinking.
Because she didn't want
put it in your arm.
Yeah, so she sacrifices herself for the world, and she puts it in her arm. So now she has 20 hours to live before it gets bad, and the last half hour of the movie is basically a race against time. Ethan's going after the bad guys and the antidote, because they have the antidote.
Mm-hmm.
And Ving Rhames is going after Naya to find her. So because she will kill herself as
she's trying to get him. She's trying to get Tom Cruise to kill her.
Yeah. So
and then
she's such a hero.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's basically the film. Obviously, in the end, everything works out because this is a Mission Impossible film. And yes, that line is used. Yeah. This is not Mission Difficult. This is Mission Impossible. And at the end, they get together for whatever it is.
Shocking.
Probably
until Mission Impossible 3.
Until the credits are done.
The next Impossible mission comes along.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of, getting back to the mask issue, there's a lot of that. The masks are very fancy, obviously, in Mission Impossible movies. They look like the person that's there.
Even though like the phones are like, it's so funny to see like what they thought tech would look like in the future.
Yes.
And now it is the future.
Now it is the future. And they have, so you have that. They wear this little voice changer thing on their neck so they can sound exactly like the other person.
Yeah.
It's just literally like a piece of masking tape and it works.
Yeah.
They take the masks off. There's nothing on their face. It's like completely clear. It's like Maybelline. It's like perfect. It comes out. It's like those, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's used a couple of times in the first movie. It's used a couple of times in this movie, and it becomes very apparent towards the end. You could see it coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ethan Hunt is not the one at the end who is in trouble. It is actually another guy, and Ethan is playing the other guy, and there's like
I didn't see that. I was like, oh, that's a good one.
I just want to know where they have these mask making machines that so quickly make these masks on demand.
Yeah, because it looks like once you take it off, I don't know, can you reuse it?
No, I don't think you can.
I don't know, but all I know is if I was Ethan, I'd be trying to rip everyone's face off before I did anything. Are you really Naya?
Yeah.
So let me tell you
she should have done that.
From a story standpoint, this is what I didn't understand. At the end of the film, there's a little switcheroo, a little twist. It's not Ethan who is captured. It's the other guy. Ethan now is in a position of power. He has a gun. The guy is facing the opposite direction. The movie could end right there. He could shoot the guy, but instead he grabs the antidote and he runs away. And instead of just shooting everybody in the room.
Then we don't get the John Woo slow-mo of the kick and the turn and the shoot.
Yes. So let's talk.
And you also could have like killed him with the knife, and so he just throws it at him like, let's give him a weapon, Ethan. That's mission, duh.
So I had not seen this film. I saw the first movie and I saw Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol I loved. I thought it was a great Mission Impossible movie. That being said, this movie was a little cringy. It was the kind of film I felt that they make fun of now, but back then was kind of like normal hat. It was like normal thing. Like the two motorcycles going towards each other and touching and exploding, and every single car explodes regardless of whether or not it's in a minor accident or a major accident. It always flips over. Cars always flip over in this movie. You can shoot at anything and it will explode as long as it's something that is made to explode. Or you can shoot at a gas tank. By the way, Mythbusters, they busted this one. You can shoot at a gas tank and the gas tank will explode. There's a lot of those quick cut scenes. There's obviously a lot of good car work, like good car stunts in there, motorcycle stunts. And as you mentioned, the slow motion John Woo, panning around and stuff like that. I didn't think it was not exciting. For me, it was a little distracting because do you remember Hot Fuzz, the movie Hot Fuzz, the Simon Pegg movie? They kind of made fun of this type of movie.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little weird watching this now, 23 years later.
I feel like a lot of stuff doesn't age well.
Yeah. This didn't for me.
No.
They made fun of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with the, aerial stunts and stuff like that, but whatever.
It's just strange because like Ghost Protocol is more of a modern, obviously it's made later, but is more modern and has more a realism added to it. Like, okay, that was kind of crazy, but I could see that actually happening. Where this movie was just straight out.
Well, I mean, he's like handstanding on a cliff.
Yeah,
he supposedly really did that though.
Yes, he does.
Really, that high up
with a safety wire.
Oh,
they took the safety wire up, but that's really him.
Oh yeah, that part I knew. But he had a safety wire on, so like in the movie.
Oh yeah, so if he fell, it was like he'd just swing there and he'd be like, "Oh, Tom's swinging, pull back up." Yeah, no, but he's still hanging from there.
Yeah, I
look,
do that.
for everything. This is I have like this issue with Tom Cruise in that I do like his films. I do. I love watching his movies. I think he's a great action star, and the fact that he does his own stunts, and you can see that it's really him on that motorcycle going like, booking down the road and everything like that. I think that, I appreciate that. I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything about his personal life. I don't want to know about Xenu or whatever. I don't. I think most of the time I can separate the artist from the person, the art from the artist, or however you say it. But no, I think he did well in this film, considering that at the time he was what was he at the time? He was in his 30s, maybe late 30s.
Yeah.
Still doing pretty good. I mean, I can't imagine what the new movie is going to be like, because in the new movie, which comes out, like I said, is out now. He's the same age as John Voight was in the original 1996 Mission Impossible.
Oh, I didn't. This is the only Mission Impossible I've ever seen.
Yeah. So the new Mission Impossible that's out right now actually was filmed in 19 and 20.
Oh.
And it's just coming out now because of the COVID and everything like that.
Oh, interesting.
So, so I think he was 57, 58, and now he's like 61.
Wow. That's crazy. Tom Cruise 61.
Yeah.
I know. So, look, I enjoyed it. It was a little, like you said, it was a little slow in spots. Yeah. Sarah, what did you think about the movie?
It was all right. I was not one of the better ones. Like you said, it was aged, and it had its like tropes, like I didn't like that. Like they used every type of musical action soundtrack. I'm like, where are we in the Sahara? No, we're in Australia. What is with this music? Are we in Egypt? No, what's with this? And then, right? I was like, what is with, like, oh.
Very like a video game, right?
That's what in the beginning, when he's like walking the doctor, like you hear his voiceover and he's like walking out. I was like, this looks exactly like a video game. Yeah. Like the little cut scenes or whatever they're called, that has like the little movie that kind of like puts you in the space or whatever. Like it was just like that.
Yeah. So that was a little disturbing. And then I was like, it's a little slow. And then I was like, okay. And I just kept thinking, well, if they edited this, it'd be such a faster movie. Like it would be
sure.
But and also it was very like Tom Cruise's face. Like I just got very distracted the whole movie, and I
distracted by Tom Cruise.
Well, just like you said, it didn't age well.
Mm-hmm. His hair was kind of weird in this movie, wasn't it?
I hated his hair.
It was very like what's that shampoo commercial where they flip their hair? That's what I felt. I'm like, are we watching a shampoo commercial? What is? You have nice hair.
It almost looked like what is that? Like extensions.
It's almost like it
didn't look like there was something about it. I was like, just cut it. I didn't like it. It was like a weird length.
Kind of
like,
70s.
It was. Keep
kind of
going,
70s,
and get a little bit longer, or cut it.
Maybe he was doing another.
Well, wasn't that during the Vanilla Sky period?
And that he had long hair in there.
Yeah. Right? I'm thinking maybe it was around there.
But it's also like 23 years ago. Things were different back then.
Yeah.
I don't know. And the fact that like Thandie Newton was like so young looking that I was like, oh.
Oh, you didn't like that?
No, I don't like that. I was like, creepy. Yeah. She is a beautiful woman, and but she just looks so young. I was like, she looks like she could literally be 13.
Yeah,
like that. She always wore belly shirts, like no matter.
That was a style.
But she was very thin. I was like, when she was walking through the mountains, I was like, this could be like one of those commercials for starving people that need
food.
Yeah,
I liked her accent though. She had a nice accent.
Isn't that her accent or no?
Yeah.
She's British, isn't he? British.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So you thought it was?
It was long. I think it definitely the series got much better, and they brought in Simon Pegg and everything. So I think it. Yeah. But it is a Tom Cruise flick, so.
as far as maturing as a series, I think it's done fantastic. Maturing, yeah. What about you, Nicole? What do you think?
I agree. I think it was long. It was slow, like I said. Sarah said, like, I was like, I felt the action. It was like actiony and then like nothing for a while, and I'm like, where'd the action go? And then it was like all action at the end. So I was like, eh.
I don't think I'd ever watch it again.
No,
but I will say I might. Say this.
MI3?
Yeah, like say I won't. Okay, I will not sit down and hit play. If Steve happens to,
you'll be like, oh,
yes, yeah, I will be like, oh, okay, and I'll sit down and watch it with him, something like that. But like it did, like I like I said, I'd never seen any of them, and this didn't completely turn me off from them. Not like, oh, never mind, I don't have a desire to watch any of them now. Like I do, I think I'm like, oh, all right.
I'll probably see the new one in the theater. Yeah.
No, now I want to watch the rest of them. Because this I think might have been rated the lowest as far as audience feedback.
It was not cohesive. Yeah. Like I said, what's with like the Moroccan music when they're in like downtown Sydney, Australia, and it just was like okay, like too many tropes thrown into one, and it was
I will say this: another thing that was very distracting is you put. And again, no disrespect to anyone, but you put Tom Cruise and Sir Anthony Hopkins in a room and you have them act with each other. Someone is acting much better than the other. I mean, there's a gravitas when Sir Anthony Hopkins talks. I mean, he's just like...
he is only Hannibal to me, so I'm just like, wait, he's going to bite your face off.
I mean, but I could literally see...
That's all I can see him as now.
I guarantee you that guy was on set for maybe a day, Sir Anthony Hopkins, because he's in for maybe 5 minutes of the movie total. He's not in very long, but when he's in that movie, the way he's like delivering the lines and just acting is just like, oh my goodness, a lot of gravitas there for such a small part.
It's Hannibal.
I haven't seen Hannibal either, so.
You never saw Silence of the Lambs?
No.
You never saw Silence of the Lambs?
No.
You have to watch Silence of the Lambs, and then just imagine, what year did that come out?
It is 91.
Okay.
We should do that as a movie chat.
I can't. So when you watch it, just imagine young Sarah, impressionable Sarah, was brought to see it by her father.
That's right. You mentioned that.
And I was like, some of the scenes I was like, it's awkward.
Aww.
Yeah.
So I saw that movie, I saw that like on Home Box Office or something like that. And I just remember the...
Home Box Office? You mean HBO?
Yes, I just dated myself.
Well, it's not even cool. What's it called now? Go or something ridiculous?
Max.
Okay, Grandpa.
I saw it on HBO at the
Office.
house when I was also younger, and the second half of the movie, I stood up the entire time. That's how suspenseful it was. I'm not sitting down anymore. It's done.
I feel like I've seen so many like parts and clips, and I've heard so much like I can piece together the movie, but I never.
Oh no, it's very good.
Yeah, the dining room scene is over the top crazy, but you got to see it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we saw Mission Impossible 2, and we think the following. Nicole.
That's fine.
What'd you give it?
I feel like, where you are now, you have to see like where you've come from to really appreciate where you are now type of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like all the action movies, like I said, like I'm like on it. Like,
it's like a 23-year arc.
Yeah.
And so like to appreciate, you have to like go back and see. And I think it,
So what would you give it?
It's appreciative.
Out of 10?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Sarah Fade, what do you give it?
7.
7? Okay. All right.
She just looked too young.
Yeah.
Well, no, not that. I mean, that she couldn't help that she's very beautiful and very young looking.
Yeah. Youthful.
Yeah. Damn her youthful looks and bitter Sarah watching. I don't like her face.
She has she did the.
She's too pretty.
She did the eyes and the pouting very well.
She's very beautiful.
And even in Westworld too.
I give it.
She's
I'm gonna give it 7.5 too. Yeah. I think it's in that range between 7 and 7.5. If we had quarter, I'd do 7.25.
Well, you can do
but I'm giving
an
extra 2.25 for the Thandie Newton.
Okay.
So, all right, there you go. We have this here in the collection, and if you haven't seen any of the Mission Impossible movies, they are here. Mission Library downstairs. So we'll put that in the show notes. And thank you so much for listening to another movie chat here at the podcast. And if you want to listen to older episodes or read those show notes or find our older movie chats, you can go to mcplpodcast.com, click on the search button, and type in movie chat. That's all you have to do, and all our movie chats show up on that page. How cool is that?
Cool.
And we have many, 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 many of them. And if you're listening on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. We're getting up there. We're almost up to 1,100. That's not bad. And hit like. We'd like a like. And review us on iTunes or Spotify. Give us some stars. So this way we can fool with that algorithm and maybe get it bumped up a little bit. Okay. So once again, thank you for listening. For Sarah Fady and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.